Pokemon is a game of strategy and anticipating opponents' maneuvers, but it's also a pure numbers game. In order to win battles, you'll need to optimize your Pokemon in a number of different ways, and doing so isn't particularly easy. I'm Steven Rondina from Win.gg, and I'm here to talk about how to get the best possible Pokemon in every mainline Pokemon game. Now, the general process has actually been the same since the start of Pokemon Red and Blue, and works all the way up until Sword and Shield, and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl. But the actual process of doing so is not really talked about in the actual Pokemon game. I'm here to help you with that. Creating perfect Pokemon is a lengthy process, and there are several steps to doing so. That said, it's easier today than it ever has been. It's a 3-step process. First, breed for perfect IVs, natures, and abilities. Second, give vitamins and train to get perfect EVs. 3, put together a proper moveset. First, let's talk about Pokemon breeding. Much of the process for creating a perfect Pokemon is done before the egg even hatches, and that requires getting a Pokemon with perfect IVs, a perfect nature, and a great ability. Now, you likely know that natures make one stat better and one stat worse, and you've almost certainly seen that Pokemon have abilities, but you might not know about IVs. IVs are a hidden stat that has existed in Pokemon since Generation 1. They're why you can catch 2 wild Pokemon of the same species that are at the same level, but they'll have wildly different stats. Each individual Pokemon has an IV attached to its HP, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed stats. IVs are randomly assigned to a wild Pokemon and range from 0 to 31. Each point in IVs translates to 1 point for that stat when it reaches level 100, which makes a big difference when it comes to how much damage a Pokemon deals or receives in battle. For a perfect Pokemon, you're going to want to have at least 5 perfect 31 IV stats to make sure you have maximum HP, defenses, speed, and its primary attack stat. Now, the problem is that you're not going to be able to actually catch these in the wild with any degree of frequency. IVs are similar to a Pokemon's genetics in that they're passed down from parent to child. If a parent Pokemon is holding a Destiny Knot item while in the daycare center, any Pokemon eggs it produces will have 5 IVs inherited from its parents and 1 assigned at random. You can combine this with an Everstone on the other parent to also pass down natures. This process ultimately starts with getting parents that have at least a few max IVs. Catching a Pokemon with multiple maximum IVs is very, very rare, but there are different methods for doing so in each game. Now, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can get them from max raid battles, while in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you'll need to use the Pokemon Radar and start chaining together encounters of the same Pokemon. Pokemon obtained through mystery gifts also usually have a few guaranteed maximum IVs, but of course the easiest way to get them is to just do wonder trades, since players often just give away Pokemon that are imperfect but still useful for new players. You can check the IVs of Pokemon using the Judge function, which is typically found in post-game battle areas like the Battle Tree or Battle Tower. If all of this sounds like it's too much for you, well, I can't blame you, but the good news is there are lots of different shortcuts you can take to speed up this process. Players can effectively emulate perfect IVs using hyper training, which can be done after leveling a Pokemon up to 100 by using bottle caps. For abilities and natures, players can basically choose whatever they want using mints, ability capsules, and ability patches. The drawback to this is that these items are difficult to farm and are best used on legendary Pokemon. While it takes a lot of legwork, you're usually best off breeding yourself an ideal Pokemon wherever possible. This is a lot, I know, but the good news is that once you're done breeding Pokemon, you can actually move on to IVs, which is much, much easier. It can be time consuming, but there's so many different ways now that you can speed up the process. EVs are another hidden stat that dictate how strong a Pokemon is relative to others of the same species. Alongside experience, EVs are acquired after defeating Pokemon in battle. When a Pokemon is defeated, it usually gives a player between 1 and 3 EVs for a single stat. A Pokemon can have up to 252 EVs in each stat, but only have a maximum of 510 EVs to work with across all their stats combined. At level 100, 4 EVs translates to 1 point for that stat, which adds up in a big way. Back in the day, doing this required you to kill literally hundreds of wild Pokemon just to max out 1 stat for 1 Pokemon on your party. The good news is that in Pokemon Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, things are way, way faster and more merciful. While you can still get EVs by knocking out wild Pokemon, the fastest and most effective way is to give them enormous amounts of vitamins. Players can freely use items like Carbos, HP Up, and Iron to give their Pokemon 10 EVs for a specific stat. Many different Pokemon are at their best by just maxing out 2 stats and then putting an extra point into one of their defenses. That means if you have a Pokemon like Jolteon that wants maximum speed and special attack, you can just give it 26 Carbos to max its speed, 26 Calcium to max its special attack, and then 1 Zinc or Iron to top it off with 1 more point in its defenses. Even if you want to get fancy and only get a certain number of EVs for a specific stat, it's not that hard. All you need to do is use vitamins to get things close to the desired EV tally, and then defeat a few select wild Pokemon to get perfect EVs. Once you have a Pokemon with perfect IVs and perfect EVs, there's just one step left, and that's to give it the right moves. And thankfully, this is by far the easiest step of the process. You likely already know how to approach giving your Pokemon perfect moves. This can be done by leveling them up, giving them TMs or TRs, or bringing them to move tutors. There are also certain moves that Pokemon can be taught by their parents called egg moves. Generally speaking, the process isn't difficult. Depending on the Pokemon, their moveset, and which game you're playing, you might need to do some grinding for levels, watts, BP, or whatever other currency there is in the game. Still, this is the easiest and most straightforward part of creating perfect Pokemon. And once this is done, your Pokemon is ready for battle. The tricky thing is knowing how different Pokemon fit together within your party and how to take down the most popular Pokemon that your opponents will be using. But thankfully, that just comes down to your own experience. So that's how to create perfect Pokemon. If this ended up helping you, please give us a like and feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions. And once again, subscribe to win.gg to keep up with our Pokemon content and keep an eye out for Pokemon Legends Arceus.